Good morning. This is Barry Bryson bringing you another 5 good minutes with the Word. Thank you for joining me again this morning. Um, our series, Encountering Jesus, is focusing on Peter's encounters with Jesus, and we're spending some time tracing the arc of his relationship with Jesus in the Gospels, a few places in the Book of Acts, and a stop or two in First and Second Peter. And we talked yesterday about Peter's confession in John chapter 6, which really is a more complete confession than the one we're going to be looking at today. But this one is quite special as well for its own reasons because of what Jesus says in response to this confession. The confession yesterday came at a moment when Jesus was feeling awfully low following the feeding of the 5,000 because the people had been basically coming out to see the show and get a meal. Jesus intentionally made his teachings more challenging, started saying things like, "You have to eat my flesh and drink my blood." And people started to leave him in droves. And Jesus ends up saying to the 12, "You're not going to leave me too, are you?" And Peter says, "Master, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life." And we completely and thoroughly believe and have come to absolutely know that you are the Holy One of God. And we talked about how that's communicated in the text in the perfect sense. We have believed it, we believe it now, we will always believe it, and we know it in the same way. And we also noticed yesterday that faith preceded perfect understanding, that faith comes first, and then comprehension. At least the deep comprehension that Peter claims they had about the person of Jesus. Jesus is going to ask them about that today at Caesarea Philippi. There's a quote from Montaigne, the great French essayist, really the father of the personal essay, and it's on his tombstone, the quote, and it informs all of his work. And in French, it's "Que sais-je?" which means "what do I know?" Which is not a throwing up of your hand saying, "What do I know?" It's "what do I know? What information do I have? And as I interpret that information, what does it tell me about myself, about the world, about that which transcends the world?" And Jesus asks them this day at Caesarea Philippi what they know about him, and what they know about the world as well that they find themselves in. Because as he will say in his prayer in John 17, they are not of the world, but they are in the world. And they need to know the world they're in. He's at Caesarea Philippi, which is north. He's not really in Jewish country anymore. And Caesarea Philippi was famous in its day as a place of many shrines. There was a grotto to Pan there, but there were shrines of many different religions at Caesarea Philippi. And so, surrounded by, a garden of idolatry, he sets his disciples down and he asks them this question. It says in Matthew chapter 16, verse 13, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he began to ask his disciples, saying, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, some Elijah, others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But whom do you say that I am?" And Simon Peter answered and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And then Jesus says something amazing. He says, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of John, because flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not overpower it." There's so much here. He asked them, what's everyone saying about me? What do you know about the world around you, especially in their relationship to me? And then he says, "But you, what do you think? Whom do you say that I am?" And Peter says, "You're the Christ, the Son of the living God." And he doesn't go into the deep detail that he did yesterday, or last time we were together, but he does give an answer to which Jesus responds, Simon, son of John, no one told you this. My Father who is in heaven revealed this to you. At first blush, how can we say that? How can Jesus say that? When Jesus met Peter, Andrew said, Peter, he said, Simon, literally, Simon, meet the Messiah. Messiah, meet Simon. He's introduced to Jesus as the Messiah. But he doesn't mean just a cognitive assent or introduction. It's something deeper, something that God himself has revealed to Peter, something that Peter expressed the last time we were together when he talks about absolute faith and absolute knowledge. And it's upon that confession, it's based upon faith, and that's based upon knowing Jesus, that everything else is built. Thank you for joining me for 5 good minutes. We'll talk more about Peter tomorrow.